Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I wanted to have a conversation with you as I take a walk, a conversation regarding the future, a conversation regarding your life, my life, a conversation regarding entrepreneurship. And if you have any questions, please feel free to join. My name is Movita Nawa. I'm a life coach. I'm a motivational speaker. Please, if I run out of breath, excuse me. I'm taking a walk. This will say is good evening. So welcome. Entrepreneurship, for the most part, is a journey. It is a conversation with yourself in terms of alternative sources of income. Generally speaking, if we are going to depend on one source of income, I think we are going to strain that income. Even if you have a doctor's salary, except maybe in the USA. In the USA, doctors are the highest paid. Doctors and lawyers, they are the highest paid. Here in Zambia, I think lawyers are the highest paid, followed by executives, CEOs, followed by, business people. Teachers, not so much there at the top. Nurses, not so much there at the top. Though they do critical work, they are not really the highest paid. So, how do you provoke yourself, therefore, to be an entrepreneur who does not depend on your salary, does not depend on one source of income? How do you ensure that you can compensate your salary with another source of income? So the first thing, I think, as an individual, entrepreneurship is about creativity. Entrepreneurship is about leadership. Entrepreneurship is about time management. One of the greatest questions I get asked all the time by people is that, Movita, how do you manage so many businesses? And how do you manage your time? Where do you find the time to enjoy life, to spend? Most people say, when do you spend time with your family? So one of the things entrepreneurship will teach you, entrepreneurship is a discipline. It will teach you how to apportion your time and break it into different quadrants. So I'll give you an example. Today I did many tasks, many responsibilities today. And within that busy schedule, I still managed to take care of 2 or 3 components of my side hustles. Why did I take care of them? Because they take care of me. Generally speaking in life, when you care about something, you will generally find time to take care about that thing. That's it. If something is taking care of you, you will find time to take care of it. So I found time to take care of those things. Entrepreneurship is like falling in love. When you love someone, you find time for them. It's simple. That's how entrepreneurship is. But I think more than money and other components, entrepreneurship is about liberty. Finding the freedom, the liberty, the power to liberate yourself from economic bondage and economic hardships. So if you're not careful, and if you're depending only on your salary, you will strain yourself. You will strain your salary, you will strain your income, and above all, you'll be stressed. Some of you have so many responsibilities. You have to take care of your mom, you have to take care of your dad. This place, some people can cook. You can even turn just to go and ask, is this where ShopRite is? Or is this where Amanda Hill is? Especially when they are cooking kapenta. To kapenta. So an onion and salad, aibo. You can even ask, where is Keke buried? Peradventure you find them eating and they invite you. That's my prophetic nose sensing that Kakombonic cooking. I like that Kakombon cooking, you know. Just pure skill, pure art. Anyway, back to business. Where does one get the spirit of entrepreneurship? Now, some of us are fortunate enough that we perhaps grew up in homes that had entrepreneurs, grew up in families that taught us entrepreneurship, or they never really called us and sat us down and said, oh, this is now time for entrepreneurship. No. As we saw them hustle, we quickly learned, we quickly caught on, we quickly got with a program. You understand? So what happens therefore, if you've never had the privilege, let me see if I go this way, oh, the light and darkness, yeah, that's what I thought, we'll be going against the sun. So we need to go this way. So as you hustle your way, you're going to find a way to learn, to teach yourself. Entrepreneurship is a learning curve. It is a school, it is a discipline. And so William Shakespeare was asked a question, where do leaders come from? Are leaders born? And William Shakespeare said, there are some people who are born great. Others become great. And others, some become great, and others have greatness thrust upon them. And that's what I wanted to avoid, this road, the cars. But anyway, so you have to have your own desire, your own willpower, your own kind of priorities to say to yourself, what do I really want to achieve? And I want you to know that a salary is a good thing to have for capital purposes. A salary is good for capital purposes. But sooner or later you will discover that a salary is very limited in terms of what it can do. Even if you made 100,000 kwacha, you know, some people say, if I made 100,000 kwacha per month, I will be okay. I will not bother anyone. But what these people forget is that when you are making 100,000 a month, your bills are probably 120, 130,000. Haven't you noticed how when you used to make 1,000 a month, you used to manage? Now you're making 5,000 a month and you're not managing. And you're saying, when I make 10,000 a month, I'll manage. Then the 10,000 comes, again you won't manage. Then the 20,000 comes, again you won't manage. And the only reason we don't manage with our salaries is that they are not big enough. And they'll never be big enough, even if you are the CEO of Bloomberg. So entrepreneurship therefore becomes the complement, the supplement, and the support base of our salary. It gives a structure to our financial lifestyle. So how do you activate your entrepreneurship side? I think entrepreneurship must be married with creativity. I think entrepreneurship must not be left to be just another chore, another washing, as we say in Zambia. You're just going to wash your clothes. I think entrepreneurship must be married with the creative side of things. So you become an entrepreneur because you are creative. You become an entrepreneur because you have an opportunity. You become an entrepreneur because, not because you're stressed, but because you're creative. So where do you tap from? What are the sources of creativity when it comes to entrepreneurship? Nature is a source of creativity. But above all else, entrepreneurship must solve problems. That is the basis, the ethos, the doctrine of entrepreneurship. It must solve problems. So, one of the greatest inspirations, of entrepreneurship is that it must solve problems. it must answer certain questions of nature. So, when you walk around and you find people struggling with water, let's say there's a water supply problem, you must ask yourself questions. Is this the best solution to this water supply problem? Okay. Have they thought about everything? Or is there a side that people haven't thought about? And if so, how can I ensure that I support them by providing them with water, perhaps at the same price, but cleaner? Perhaps at the same price, but bulkier. You get it? Or at the same price, same bulk, but faster and much more convenient. That's entrepreneurship. So the people of Chipata discovered that people couldn't really walk in those mountains. They started riding bicycles and charging people 1 kwacha until it reached 5 kwacha. You're on the back of a bicycle, climbing those mountains of Chipata on a bicycle. Entrepreneurship. Then his capital grows, new modes of transport come into Chipata, motorbikes come. The people of Chipata say, no, not any more bicycles. Now we're going to motorbikes. Are there still bicycles? Yes. Different segment. Number 2, entrepreneurship must be enjoyable. You must have fun. Not having fun because you're making money, but having fun because you are exercising your freedom to create wealth. One of my very first businesses was that we used to go to church, and I noticed that a lot of people did not have notepads and notebooks in church. So at that time, many years ago, there weren't as many bookstores. So I went and bought a ream of paper and cut an A4 paper into half. Forgive me if half of A4 is A1 or A2. I can't remember. But I cut it into half. And then I bought hard paper, cut it into the same size. And then I bought perforators and perforated them. And I started selling notebooks without lines. Don't ask me who would buy a notebook without lines. One with a bad handwriting. One with a bad handwriting. So from that problem, I saw a window. And I would sit all night making those notepads. And there's always somebody at church who comes without a notebook. And I would enjoy it. I would put in 100, come out with 150, 170, 100, and sometimes double that money, 200. And I grew that business. I found men who used to drink. I realized they liked chili bites. We used to call them chick cholis. I don't know what they call them now, but I think they're still called chili bites. And I would buy those chili bites, cut them into pieces, nibble a little bit, gotta taste it, and sell them to people who were enjoying themselves over a drink. Entrepreneurship must be enjoyable. The third component is that entrepreneurship must grow from one degree to another, from one level to another. The level you are at this year, you may still be there next year. I don't know. You may not. But whatever the case, entrepreneurship must grow. You must find yourself growing. The moment you stop growing as an entrepreneur, it means something is not right. The final thing I want to say to you is, apart from entrepreneurship being a discipline, in Mong we talked about the 5 qualities of a great business. I believe we talked about a business must be easy to start, easy to duplicate, one that you enjoy doing, and easy to grow and enjoyable. I think more than anything else, entrepreneurship must be a passion. That's why I don't answer people who ask me questions. What business must I do? I have so much money. Sometimes before you discover what business you must do, perhaps discover what passions you have. So some of us, if you look at all our businesses, and this answers the question, Muvita, where do you get the time to manage all these businesses? It's passion. Some of my businesses are hobbies. Let's see. Mr. Now, do you know something about stock shares? I need your help. Can we discuss more on WhatsApp? No, I don't want to discuss that. I don't want to discuss shares because I personally don't believe that shares are good for Zambian citizens. Okay? That's my personal view. I don't believe that shares are good for Zambian citizens. Why should you buy shares when you don't even have a plot? You've got 20,000 kwacha. You go buy shares. Why? Tell me what that 20,000 will become in 1 year by buying shares. Maybe because I know so much. Maybe because I saw so much. Shares are good for institutional investors. Pension funds, building societies, those are good. But individuals, I personally don't recommend them for individuals. I don't. Don't force me. If you do, you do. But me, I don't. Because I don't think shares are good for individuals in Zambia. In other countries, they may be good. But here in Zambia, I wouldn't recommend them. If I bought a plot today, I kept a plot for 3 years. That plot will be worth more in 3 years than if you bought those shares and kept them for the same period of time, and even if they were of the same value. So think about those things. Think about those things. So as I was saying, when entrepreneurship is a passion, it becomes easy to grow. It becomes easy to manage. It becomes easy to know when it's not growing and maybe you want to change ideas, change places. Thank you for your feedback. What do you think is the best for individuals in Zambia? Buy a plot, my friend. Why do you like troubling me? Buy a plot. Buy a plot. Build a house. Real estate is the thing. And a lot of you are missing out on real estate. Even right now, we are selling plots for 6,000 kwacha. Some of you don't even want to buy those plots. 6,000 kwacha. Buy that plot, keep it for 2-3 years. You sell it for 30,000-45,000 kwacha. Trust me on that one. Buy a plot, you'll never go wrong. Buy a plot, start a business like we are discussing today. Entrepreneurship is very important. And look at it this way. When you buy shares in a company, you will own 1% of that company here in Zambia. Now, if you buy shares in Apple, that's a whole different conversation. There's a man I know, he bought shares in Apple. His father bought shares for him. He was around 11 years old in Apple, around 30 years ago. Today, that man's shares are worth $2 or $3 million US. $2 or $3 million US that the father bought for him 30 years ago. And he says he can never sell them. I wouldn't either. Okay? So, please, I don't really want to talk about shares very much. But I was going to say, you own 1% of a certain company. But if you start building your own company now and work on it for 10 years, in 10 years' time, that company will be worth millions. I have such a company. There's a company I started about 13 years ago. Today, that company is worth millions. 13 years ago, I started that company with very little money. But today, that company is worth, I almost revealed what it's worth. But if I had put that same capital which I started that company with 13 years ago, I had put it in shares or in certain kind of investment, it wouldn't be worth what it's worth today. And by the way, part of what makes that company worth so much today is that it also invested in real estate, in its own property. Okay, I want to live and love you. Gotta carry on with this walk. But I just want to encourage you to work on your entrepreneurship mind. Wherever you go, ask yourself, how can I make my journey cheaper and quicker? And hopefully help someone else make their journey quicker and cheaper. Several years ago, I bought a bicycle for my son. And my son said to me, every time I'm riding my bicycle, other children are asking me if they could ride my bicycle as well. So, do you mind if you bought a second bike? Because they are willing to pay. That way, as I ride my bicycle, they are also riding at a fee. And therein was born a business for my young son. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship solves problems, answers questions, and adds value to the life of the entrepreneur. You don't have to do it 100%. You don't have to do it full time. You can do it over the weekend. But don't postpone entrepreneurship, because sooner or later, life will demand that you become a full-time entrepreneur. And it's better that when that time comes, you are ready. You are ready because you've been practicing. Have a beautiful day. I've got to go. This is your friend Mobito Nawa. I'll talk to you next time. Hope you can see how tall I am. I am out. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.